Hey, this is Tony.
This is Paul coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast.
And we're a go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast here on YouTube. Thanks for tuning back in. If you can, help us out. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. Also, Friends for Life is currently hiring, so if you're interested in working for us, head over to friendsforliferc.com and head over to our employment page and fill out the form, and we'll get back with you. Today, our special guest is India Jones of Services for Independent Living, and we have a really fun and interesting conversation about her career, her new career in the disability field, coming from nursing and her background in transportation and just her newfound love for her job. So let's dive right into it. India, welcome to the Friends for Life podcast. Thanks for coming on. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I haven't finished my coffee yet.
I got some.
We're really excited to have you on. We've seen you in the past on other shows, and we're like, hey, this would be a great conversation to have. So you're currently at Services for Independent Living. So why don't you let us know how you got involved with them and kind of, what your role is and maybe a little bit about the Services for Independent Living, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So Services for Independent Living was founded in 1980 by individuals who had spinal cord injuries. And so we were the first federally designated center for independent living here in the area. So we service 3 different counties. I want to say Cuyahoga, Lake, and Geauga. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea is to just, let people who have different differences, and I won't even say disabilities, just feel like, hey, that's just a part of them. That's not all of them. So we're like the center that they can come to and they can advocate for themselves and learn how to advocate for other issues and get different services, be a part of some cooking groups, just anything to try to keep them busy and motivated, because we all have something that we probably could feel like, we could change or, so
yeah, absolutely.
We're just here to try to empower and be a support system. I actually been here for a little bit over a year now. I came in the door as a transitional coordinator first. And so I did that position for about 3-4 months here. And basically that was just transitioning people out of the nursing homes back into their own homes. Because, some people, they get surgeries and, whatever, and wind up having to be in those type of situations and they lose their homes. Yeah. So I really thought that this job was like an awesome job because my background is in healthcare. I am an LPN. So it just was another, I want to say, avenues to be able to help someone without having to go by the doctor's orders or, and this was more of like an independent type of situation where you're empowering someone to make their own decisions instead of just kind of giving them what the doctor's orders are or, or what our recommendations are. So I love that aspect. So then a manager position came available for community services, and I absolutely love doing whatever I can to help in the community. So I applied for that position and switched over to that within 3 months. So I've been in this position for a year. And so I've been here for probably a year and 3 months or so. But yeah, I really like it. Part of that job came with facilitating 2 different transportation coalitions. So I facilitate the Northeastern Ohio Transportation Coalition, and then the Ohio Aging and Disability Transportation Coalition. So it's just been awesome, just meeting different people, trying to advocate on a more legislative, aspect.
Yes, that's what I love hearing right there. That's where we got to fight for.
Yeah, and it's so important because you think about COVID, a lot of restaurants were really concerned about, how are we going to stay open? How can we socially distance? And just think about how many of them said, well, let's expand our dining rooms or let's do this and that. Well, they were doing that and it was covering up most of the sidewalk. Well, hey, what about people who ride buses? What about people who need to go past your entity, so it's just really about, and some people are not meaning to be, the way that they're not meaning any harm. They just not educated on, that there are individuals that will be affected by this too. So we're here to just kind of, speak out loud and, help people advocate for themselves too.
That's why we started the podcast too, to give more visibility to the disability community. And, Tony and I, we're not great at much, but we can talk a lot. That's what we're pretty good at that.
So you're good at a lot.
So we're trying to go on that same vein. So how was the transition, between just being a LPN, not just an LPN, but being an LPN and then transitioning to maybe this disability field? Is it different for you, or is it in a good way?
Aspect, no, it's not a whole lot of different because you're still dealing with individuals who may have concerns, So if you look at it that way, and if you have a heart to help people, I think that the transition was pretty easy for me because I just want to help, in whatever way I can. And so, like I said, I like it a little bit better on this side because it's more about empowering the individual and letting the individual have a lot of input in their lives. And I think, and I'm not going to say that, the medical field doesn't, empower people, but a lot of times we do know that they like to treat the symptoms and they don't like to teach people how to avoid, even getting in certain predicaments. So we won't go real deep into that, but you guys understand what I'm saying. So I'm I really love, this field because it's empowering people. And I mean, that's more important because if you can kind of let people know that they're not alone, there's other people going through exactly what they're going through, then they don't have to feel awkward about anything or feel bad or, you know what I mean? It's not, we don't live in a world like that anymore, thank God. So I definitely like it over here. The transition was pretty easy. And
nice.
I'm having fun.
I wanted to ask a little bit because you know a lot about transportation, it sounds like, and I started with doing some transportation, and personally, because I ran a transportation department before, it was not the best feeling I had, but it got me ready for all of the call-offs and, all of those kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Those quick last-minute decisions. And one of our current workers here at Friends for Life, her name is Marquita. She was my right-hand person there in that aspect too. But do you see any struggles with how COVID has put so many limitations on people in transportation? Do you think that that's going to continue to be a problem, or do you think it's going to flourish again?
I think right now we've all kind of got acclimated with what we have been given or having to deal with. I think that, people were really frightened, if not anything. And then, even though our local transportation providers tried their best, to do everything they could, whether it was a social distance on the buses or, make sure they were providing PPE, it definitely was something for all of us to get used to. Do I feel like it's going to change or flourish, or will it stay the same? It's hard to say because you still have some consumers that will call in here and say, hey, I'm not sure if I want to really just, start really riding the buses yet. What if other people are not vaccinated? So I think it's kind of like one of those urban legends that feels like COVID is going to be it's still around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are going to whisper about it and still, have questions. So I don't really know, unfortunately, but all I do know is that we can just keep on trying to, encourage people to, get vaccinated, stay safe, carry some hand sanitizer yourself, and still live. That's the message, because it's got people so scared and, enclosed in their own homes that a lot of them don't want to come out. And I'm talking about more so our Asian community. Our aging community is just like, hey, I don't want to get it. Yeah, so I want people to start thinking about living. And when it comes to transportation, they are doing everything that they can. I'm always in contact with our local providers, Lake Tran, RTA. I actually have a Northeastern Ohio forum coming up nice. On this month, the 9th, the first, I want to say, on the 9th, the 14th, and the 18th, we have different topics, different speakers. And the first one is our local transportation providers, just talking about where they are now with COVID, like where they started at, their implementations, and what are their projections. So you guys join us. I'll make sure you get that information.
Thank you.
Send it over. That would be great.
Yes. I just wanted to ask this before I forgot my ADD EFG. Do you think that we can make the transition in transportation to electric? I want to know what that looks like in our field of work, because it seems like a very daunting task, dude.
I think that we can do anything we put our minds to, right? It's all about us kind of understanding like why we should switch. I think if
Makes
we kind
sense.
of advocate for that and educate people on why we need to do that, like for God's sakes, we don't even have 4 seasons anymore, it seems like.
Yeah.
So that
Right.
could be
We
like where
skip.
we start. Like that could be where we start. Like, you guys remember when we had spring, summer, fall, and winter? Like now it's just hot or cold or even hot when it's so like
Yeah.
global warming, like if we really just get someone to really like, explain this to society, I think they can start kind of converting over. And we live in a time where everybody watches social media. It's very impressionable.
Right.
Like you guys have a podcast because this is a way to get out information and people will watch you. They do this before they pick up a book.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
this is awesome. So yeah, I think that we can do that. Yes, I think we can do anything we put our minds to. It's just all about educating people as to why they need to switch or what would be the benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've spoken here locally. We're out of Toledo, Ohio, so we're not too far
Okay.
away from you guys. And we've spoken with local advocates on transportation and stuff in the past. And some of the issues we have around here are all around like our suburbs. We don't have transportation to, essentially, when it comes down to that. Are you guys running into similar issues out your way? Is that kind of a similar battle you're fighting?
Definitely. Like they almost act like there's people that live in the suburbs that won't need transportation. That
Yeah.
everyone has a car or a plane, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. We're dealing with the same issues here. We actually have on the 30th of this month, that actual series is on rural areas. And I have someone speaking that's very fluent. And they know the issues, and they're going to talk about that because that is a big issue. I want to say in most parts of all over Ohio.
Yeah, it is. It's so different because I know a lot of people from all over the country that I've just met and traveling and stuff, and it's so unfathomable to some. Like I have a friend who lives in New York, and I'm like, yeah, there's no transportation out like where I live. I mean, you gotta drive a half hour to get anywhere, and they're like, are you kidding me? Because everything there is walk or bus or subway, and then we're talking about having people have to try and find people to take them places when they live 10 minutes outside the city because the bus doesn't go there. And
Right.
It's so different out here in the Midwest, I feel like, from a lot of other like more urban areas with bigger cities. I mean,
Right.
Cleveland's pretty big, but I mean,
And then you
still
have the county line issues. So then a bus will stop right there. And then you're like right over the line, like, hey, are you going to come get me? And they're just like, no. So like, yes, it's definitely a huge issue all over Ohio right now.
So was there anything that kind of drew you towards the disabilities field, or is it just kind of happenstance that you ended up here?
I've worked with individuals with disabilities in the nursing field, and then I just like the whole aspect of what they do here at Services for Independent Living. So I felt like I would be a great asset because I believe in all of their core values and their mission, and I just was like, oh wow, I would love to work with them. So like I said, disability community, regular community, animal community, I am advocating. Okay.
Yeah,
And so,
there we go.
yeah, I am here just to make sure that people's voices are getting heard and, that they feel confident and they can learn how to advocate. Because if you think about it, depending on your culture or where you come from, a lot of people may think that speaking up is disrespectful or, it's something wrong with that. So we got to bring people into the norm. Like, hey, no, it's okay to say that. No, I don't like this. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
How you say it, yeah. That is so funny that you mentioned that because I just had a real life experience with this. My wife thought I was going to, because I can get angry. I'm just going to be real.
Oh,
I can
really?
get angry, and I'm not the ordinary, always cheery Tony that people see on social media and stuff. But
Right.
there was a situation that I felt I needed to speak up about somebody who I would say disrespected me in a way, but in retrospect, it was because he was ignorant to the fact he didn't know that he did that. And instead of it being, a possible teaching moment, it was a little fear on her end that I was probably going to take it further. And it's like, no, baby, it's not going to go that far. But, because if we don't speak out when things are going on, we're not going to really make any change. You know, and it
Right.
doesn't always have to be a huge picket line of things. Sometimes it is a simple, hey, look, this is the reality, you know.
Right. Right. And so it's kind of like us making sure that we're not adding to the problem. If we don't say anything, then how will our legislators or anybody, our local area, anybody's hear what's going on with us? So we got to speak up, and it's funny because you'll hear a lot of people like, oh, I just, I always have my husband talk for me. I always, it's all different reasons why people do not feel comfortable. So I've had some joy in kind of like meeting all these different individuals and learning why they hesitate, and now actually seeing them, get together and advocate with other groups and write letters. And it's very empowering. We have an advocacy group that we have here at Services for Independent Living, and we welcome, everybody and individuals with disabilities, their families that help them daily, people who just like to advocate for, the aging or disability community. And it's going so well. And the issues are there. Like, it's so many issues outside of transportation. Like, just COVID, a lot of people who had caregivers, for instance, where's the caregivers? They called off. They didn't want to go to work. They had nobody to assist them. So, it's just a lot of scary situations going on around the world. So it's good to, join groups. I encourage people to, you don't have to actually physically get out anymore. So that's awesome. If you have, if you can get a tablet, a computer, even your phone, a smartphone, join some coalition groups, join some, something to just kind of have an outlet and to actually see people since a lot of people have been, closed in for a while. So.
Yeah, we've been talking about like walking around not wearing a mask and stuff anymore.
It's weird.
You almost forget what people look like.
Right before this started, I was like this in here because we're in the office. I'm like, oh yeah, I can take it off for this real quick.
Well, I went to the grocery store for the first time without a mask the other day, and I was just like,
really?
This is so weird.
Yeah, you feel like a rebel.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, there's a big
right.
sign on the door that said, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I felt like people were looking at me like,
are you really vaccinated?
Vaccinated, right?
But yeah, it is so weird because you spend your whole life never wearing a mask and then we had this year, and now you're all paranoid.
You know what? Something real quick, even with kids, my wife and I saw a study back in the day talking about the results of like a kid getting used to you putting a thermometer to his head like a gun. In a sense, can possibly traumatize them.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, and almost into submission, having someone to have submission over you, and you just blatantly just going like that tripped me out. I thought about that. Like, can we do the old school ones underneath the
armpit?
The pits?
Yeah, you know what? We also use the wrist too.
You go. Yeah,
You're right. Some people may feel uncomfortable with that, and I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I don't even like fingers towards my face.
Yeah.
Like, move that.
It's a weird time. I'm glad it's hopefully starting to come to an end because that year just feels like weirdness.
Yeah, and then you have to think about it. Like, who wants to be at like a beach or anywhere where the humidity is high, it's really hot outside, and you have to have a mask on? Like, I'm so happy that we're kind of getting closer to like kind of letting that go and being safer. Overall, yeah. I'm happy that we're getting to a point where we're declared as safe now in a sense.
Yeah.
It's weird because they were saying they were talking about
nope, I'm gonna stop, man. We dedicated ourselves to stop talking about COVID.
The thing this is my last point, I promise. But they were saying did you notice how nobody got colds or the flu this year because everybody was hand sanitizing and wearing masks and stuff? There was those the regular flu and cold were gone. That's weird.
Yeah.
So it's all gonna pick back up. Now everybody's running around sneezing each other's faces again. But
the good thing is that we can see people's whole faces. I think it was weird, just seeing someone's eyes all the time, or and not really knowing what they look like. I don't know. Right. So I'm kind of just happy overall.
Yeah, toothbrush sales definitely went down. I'm telling you, there was not a lot of people using Crest. They're like, I know it stink underneath that mask.
Right.
Anyway,
just to go back, I know we were talking about, we kind of mentioned how social media and stuff, and that's where people's attentions are. What kind of are you a book reader or audio book? I know being an LPN, you had to go through all of the schooling and all of that good stuff, but
I love to read. I'm not
Nice.
a movie person. Like, it's so funny because my husband like literally has to like almost chain me down for me to actually sit and pay attention through an entire movie. Like, I'd rather read. Because it's just weird. Like, I'm watching a movie, but I'm doing 10 other things, and he's
Yep.
like so insulted as if he
So-
made the movie. It's just it's so funny. So it's just like some people are just not. We're just not interested in that, I guess. And I've always been an avid reader. Like, I was that student that wanted to get the highest books read in elementary school because
That
I
sounds
wanted
like my
to.
daughter.
It started from back then. And I think that, you get the full picture when you read. It's not the same as watching a movie. And even when you watch movies that they've changed from books, they convert it into a movie, the book is always better. But
Agreed.
some people don't want to pick up books at all. But I read all the time. I have my Kindle right here on my iPhone, and I'm always downloading something. So
I take it you're more of a nonfiction, or
I like fiction. I like scary stuff. So I'm always looking for a good scary.
Oh, you're one of those
fictional.
people.
Yeah, I like scary
Guys, creepers.
stuff. And I like fiction. I don't like a lot of science fiction, it seems like, though, because I don't want to read a book about someone, walking down the street and then an alien slammed into the sidewalk. And
That was one of my favorite books, The Dreamcatcher. That was one of the first. Man, I read that book in a book club when I was like 18 years old.
Really?
And there was some girls there, and I wanted to like okay, yeah, we could read. And I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. Now I see what people say. And then the movie came out, and Morgan Freeman was even in the movie, and it sucked. I was like, wow, but I'm never going to invest that time again because I didn't even get the girl. So I wasted like $40 on a new book when I could have watched the movie.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah, I like
can
all
definitely see that
categories, all different categories. I don't really care for like the romance, like love stories too much because maybe I'm just not like a hopeless romantic or like that. But yeah, and then anything that could kind of like empower or make us better, I'm always interested in reading.
Definitely.
The Law of Attraction, things like that. The Secret, that was one of my favorite books.
Yeah,
because
you gotta be careful with The Secret. That's a nice debate right there.
Yeah,
I never read that one.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
really
It's a good motivator. Yeah,
I love motivational things because it's kind of like how people rely on religion in a sense. Like you can read on your own, and just empower yourself. So I think that's important. So even though people don't like to read, they can listen to the audiobook, man.
There you go.
Yeah, I continually have to read those like crazy like David Goggins or like all those crazy dudes because I get all hyped up and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do something, and then like a week later I got to read another one because I've already lost all my motivation. I got to start all over again. But Tony and I are both huge readers. I mean, I'm like a book a week kind of guy. I don't know about Tony, but he reads those books that are like two Bibles duct taped together.
He's got like his little placeholders in them.
It's like if I'm gonna do it, I want to dive in deep and stay there.
We got to start a book club, you guys. Let's start
there
a book club.
There we go.
Okay,
That would be so
I'm
much
down with
fun.
Disability book club on disability books. I don't think that's a thing.
It doesn't sound like it.
We could be the first in Ohio.
See, look, this is why we come together. Right. This is why we collaborate, people.
Yeah,
smart ideas don't happen just like
I like that idea. We might have to do that because I don't even have to start researching. I don't even know any books. I mean, it don't have to be disability.
This could take some research, and we can, and I bet you we get a lot of people who want to.
I like where this is going.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, but I like where you're going with this, and
choked.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got something. I talked about not having a mask, and now I'm all coughing all over the place. But Services for Independent Living. I know you guys are a nonprofit, and you guys work to like provide access to people with disabilities to things that they need. So, what services do you offer to the community, just so for our listeners to understand a little more? Maybe we got some listeners out your way who don't even know.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. So we have peer support. We have an equipment loan program. So if someone's waiting to get like on Medicaid or Medicare and, they need a walker or a wheelchair, the doctor can send us over a note prescription, and we have lots of equipment here that we can loan out to them. We have free the pens, you guys, and other incontinence supplies. that they can call our office any day of the week and say, hey, I need A, B, C, D. And we're like, hey, come and get it. So besides that, we do deal with ages 14 to 21. We go into the schools. We work with them on job readiness training, advocacy, teaching them how to kind of advocate for themselves, right? Starting in 9th grade, like, hey, this is important. So we have a lot of activities going on. We have a youth Ready Go group that meets like I think about 3 times a month. And it's just really giving them different outlets and activities. We have a leadership academy that teaches people how to become leaders and serve on different boards. And, we've got a lot of graduates that left here and now they're on a board at the Cleveland Site Center, or, it's awesome. So we have so many resources. I encourage everybody to please go on our website at www.sil, so that's sil-ohio.org, and check us out. If we're in your area, which is Cuyahoga Lake in Geauga County, please come on in and, get some of our services and, tell your friends. So it's all age, it's literally all age groups. That's why I liked it too, because a lot of places are just kind of like, okay, this age group, like, no, we're dealing with people who are still in school. We're dealing with people who are in college. We're dealing with people who are now considered to be grandmothers, which that could be really young too sometimes. It just depends on
oh my goodness. I could be in that category any moment. Son, please be safe.
Grandpa Tony.
So, so I don't know. The next time we meet for our book club, somebody might be a grandparent. I don't know.
Keep that evil to yourself. Oh my goodness.
Grandpappy Tony.
Literally, we have so many different services. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't heard of us, come out and find out about us. We have the nursing home transition, like I told you. So if someone's in a nursing home, they lost their home, but they're not fit to have to stay in that atmosphere, they still can live independently. We will help you, try to get back into your own place. So that important.
Reminds me of like what was that? Peanut Butter, the Thunder, the movie
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, it's Peanut Butter.
Have you seen that?
No, I don't watch it.
Remember, she's not a good. She doesn't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Never heard of it.
I don't even watch movies, but that was a good movie.
It was
what's his name? Shia Labeouf, and he's like this like outcast, like kind of whatever. He's always getting in trouble with the law, and he's running away because he like burned down this boat or something, and these guys are trying to beat him up, and he runs into this guy with he's got intellectual delay, and he broke out of the home he was living in, and they bump into each other and they go on this wild adventure.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
it's
awesome.
just goofy and funny, and it's hilarious. He like catches
it
a fish with his.
Sounds good though. I might have to
I think you would enjoy it.
Watch it. Yeah.
I liked it, and I never watch movies, and I was like captivated the whole time. He wants to be a professional wrestler. That's the theme of the movie. So he gets him to this like wrestling idol. It's pretty funny. I thought
there's a lot of real life lessons through it with people on how they look at our field of work, and I think it really can capture what life really is for a person who might have intellectual delay.
The best part of the movie was the lady that was supposed to find him. She was like the caretaker, I guess is what they like called her in the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was talking to the guy with the disability, and then the Shia LaBeouf character, he's like, don't talk to him like that. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, he can make up his own damn mind. You don't need to talk for him. And the guy was like, yeah. It was like,
you know how you get, buddy. I have an apple.
Hey.
I have some M&Ms.
You better stop calling him a retard.
I have never called anyone that word.
Okay, hold on. Listen, when people are saying he's a retard, really what they're saying is he can't do some shit they can do. So you might not be saying the word retard, all right, I'll give you that, but you damn sure is making him feel retarded. That ain't gonna help his life. Hey, there we go.
Time. How long is that?
Long.
Not long enough, Zach. Do it again. Do you even know what I do? I've spent the last 2 years of my life volunteering to hold people's hands as they pass away. I talk to them, I feed them, I wipe their asses, I change their clothes, I put them to bed. And I'm the last person they see. Don't act like you know jack shit about me.
All right.
Yeah, maybe he should not be in a retirement home, but I didn't choose that for him. But that's what happened, and now I am doing the best I can.
and that's like what we're always talking about.
Exactly.
Like, and we like to have guests on our show that are our clients or whatever. And it's awesome. We love conversing with the community.
Conversing.
Look, he got some gangsta in him. Well, guess what time it is, India?
What time is it?
It is time for rapid fire.
The game show portion that I didn't tell you about.
Yes,
it's fun. I love it. It's the best part of the show.
Any guest who comes on, you got to give me some quick answers. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. It's set up in a would you rather scenario. But the quicker you answer, the more it tells us about you as a person.
And I'm warning you, they've gotten pretty wild recently. Yeah, this man's been on like this weird bender, so just be prepared.
I have 5 kids, and the 2 youngest only talk about farts and poops. So that's typically what I almost talk about. So, would you rather drive a bus filled with 100 poop diapers or a car soaked in urine?
That is gross.
I know, right? But I had this thought.
I will have to go with the bus because, I mean, being in the field that I worked in, it's nothing anymore.
You can handle that. You can.
But it's something about urine. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be the bus. I'll sign up. I'll take it for the team. I got you.
Can you imagine that riding through the city, though? Good.
Nasty.
It's going to be some stank. Okay, would you rather run through a 50-yard cactus field or sleep in a tent filled with mosquitoes?
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Cactus field. I'm sorry. I'm running fast. I used to run track. I'm out.
Oh, man.
I'm with you. Mosquitoes all night in a tent, that would
Oh,
suck.
no.
Yeah,
I hate bugs.
It probably wouldn't be bad right away, but the next day, oh my goodness. But
see,
would you
this
used to
is the
run?
twist. This is the twist. You guys didn't say what I had to not wear or wear running through that. So I'm y'all. I'm going to get through
Look
there.
at that. See, and I call myself being smart saying 50 yards.
Yeah.
All right. Last
Kevlar
one.
suit.
Would you rather eat a living earthworm or 10 fire ants?
Not earthworm. I'll just swallow it. It's fine.
Look,
Yeah.
I could not do that. I got to go with the ants, man.
No.
I got to chew them up.
They hurt.
I've seen someone eat a worm before, and it looks so gross.
Yeah, but
Okay, listen. I'm gonna take this back to how I felt like people who had the most compassion and character watch Disney movies, right? So people who watch Disney movies growing up, like, we are the best, right? And so I had an argument with somebody about this the other day. It was so funny, but I mean, if you guys remember The Lion King, they ate and slurped those little worms.
Yeah,
they
did.
They didn't die. So, I'm going to go with that.
So your answer boils down to Disney movies. I like that.
Yes.
I could take you down a rabbit hole of Disney real quick.
Let's do it.
I heard if you watch it, because whatever happened to Mufasa after he died? Does anybody?
Right. No, I don't know.
If you look at the end of when they go to see Scar when he's king, he's eating on a bone. And there's a carcass that the bird is stuck in. And it tends to be a lion carcass. So the thought is that Scar ate Mufasa.
Okay, listen, I'm not ready for that.
Mind blown. Sorry, kids.
That's messed up, man.
Look, kitty cat cannibalism.
Why would you bring that up? That's just rude. Look you like
terrible.
ruined India's day.
Yeah, look, she's about to
like,
go home and watch it.
You'll have to read the book.
Yeah, right.
See if it's any better.
Right,
But well, before we wrap things up here, you already kind of gave some information on your website, but I've noticed that you guys have an awesome YouTube channel with a lot of like really good information for the community. So that's awesome. I think that's what we're trying to do is get more. Yeah. We don't only do the podcast. We have other stuff on there. We have like trainings and medical shows and nursing shows and stuff too. But where can people learn more besides the website, and what kind of awesome trainings, if you know, what do you guys have up on the YouTube?
Yeah, so that's one of my jobs here, actually.
Oh, well,
I forgot
perfect.
to talk about. I am the person that puts together like the whole year of what is going to be talked about. Like, what are the topics that we want to cover? Who are going to be my speakers? So at the beginning of the year, I got together a whole itinerary created at least 3 to 4, topics that I wanted to cover, and it's been going really, really well. And so we've made that available on YouTube. They're in an archive webinar, and we cover everything, whether it's disability rights. It's so much, but I want you guys to go and look and see what interests you. We have them in an archived section on the website. We are promoting them on YouTube. We're on Twitter and Facebook and stuff too. So we'll sometimes just, put a link up so you guys can go look, but they're not too long. I try to leave them at least an hour long. So that way people aren't like really happy at the beginning. And then if I look, it's 2 hours later and you don't even see anybody's heads or anything like that. So I try to make sure that it's time friendly, meaning not over
there you go.
and a half, but whether it's transportation or disability issues or PCA issues or just people learning about service animals. Because if you think about it, if you're an animal lover, what's the first thing that you do when you see somebody with a nice service animal? You want to touch it and rub it. Well, there's rules, people. So it's good to educate yourselves, on how, service animals should be treated, or if you might need a service animal one day, how do you go about that? So we try to cover a lot of topics that, and the good thing is at the end of the webinars, there's a survey I always put out. People tell me, hey, I want to hear about this too. So that's a good way to get, data and feedback from the community, is asking them, what do you guys want to hear about? So, so many different topics. Please check it out.
Yeah, we will put links below in the YouTube video here and on the podcast in the notes and stuff for you guys to go check out the YouTube channel with all the awesome information that you're providing. And we are very grateful that you're doing that as well, because we're just trying to raise awareness, and YouTube and social media seems to be the thing currently. So unless we start making Netflix documentaries or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Coming soon.
Hopefully. But India, thank you so much. We're really glad that you had to take time out of your day and come and talk with us. And let's keep in touch about that book club. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, don't forget about our book club, you guys.
We're going to make it happen.
100%.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. Have a great time and wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, you guys, and stay safe.
We're waiting. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this episode of the Friends for Life podcast. If you can, help me out. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you could, head over to iTunes or Stitcher and leave the podcast a rating or review. We'd greatly appreciate it. I want to thank India for coming on and sharing her awesome stories and giving us some great ideas for things we can do in the future to help promote and make more visible disabilities. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week.